Hello there ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another one of my live videos, and as I said, I'm currently doing my Valencia Manchester United preview Wednesday night, 8 o'clock kick-off, and it's streamed on BT Sport 3. I think I said I will be doing it tonight, but I might as well just get out of the way and currently do the current preview now. Valencia versus Manchester United, last group stage game of the Champions League, of course. Man United have already secured that Champions League, have already secured out for the knockouts for February as well. So we're already in the knockouts. Potentially we could top the group if we beat Valencia Wednesday night and Juventus fail to beat Young Boys, which I doubt's going to happen. As I said, we haven't had a great record in the Champions League this season. We haven't been good in the Premier League. We haven't been scoring enough goals. We've been conceding too many goals as well, and we've had a lot of injury problems as well. And potentially in the Champions League, we've only scored one goal at home in the Premier League, the Champions League group stage games in 3 home games. But this is the last game, and away from home we've scored how many have we scored away from home? I think we scored 5 away from home, and we've only scored 1 at home in 3 games at Old Trafford. So potentially Valencia, Manchester United, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Give a bit of team news going into the game. We could be without 3 centre-halves. Potentially Martial is a doubt because obviously he's been potentially our best player this season, and potentially he missed the Fulham game due to that he limped off against Arsenal. So I don't know if he's going to be starting, but presumably he is a doubt. I presume Rashford will be full in his spot anywhere. It's likely that we know Lindelof's out. Potentially we could be without as well Chris Smalling. He limped off against Fulham. Also too, we could be without Luke Shaw as well. He's another one that's doubtful for the game as well. So potentially for me, we have got a few injury concerns, going into this game. And as I said, Bailey's a doubt as well, reportedly. And also too, so Mourinho's confirmed going to this game. He's given us a bit of team news. He said that Paul Pogba has got to match the mentality of his teammates, and he has confirmed. We know that he's had disputes with Mourinho, but potentially Paul Pogba will miss the Fulham game. Potentially, reportedly, he's set to start this game, and Mourinho said he's going to prove how good he is. Also, too, Andres Pereira is likely to start as well because he obviously praised Pereira, and he's going to give him the opportunity on Wednesday night. So Mourinho's confirmed that Paul Pogba and Andres Pereira are going to start on Wednesday night, and that's a good thing, to do as well. Potentially, and I think, maybe Lukaku may be starting because obviously coming frustrated with Jose Mourinho because Romelu Lukaku has had talks with Jose Mourinho, recently about potentially his form and all that, and potentially from Lukaku's perspective, he admitted he has to try and help the team win. He has to get better, he has to improve his game, and Lukaku's aware of this, so he knows himself, he has to be in better form, of course. But Mourinho praised the performance at the weekend against Fulham, and last couple of games we have performed very, very well. We've showed intensity, character, and that was our biggest win of the Premier League season so far this season against Fulham. It was good to see Juan Mata get his 50th goal English top flight and provide his 50th assist. It was good to see Rashford provide 2 assists and getting a goal. It was good to see Ashley Young, who I thought played sublime at the weekend on Saturday against Fulham. Good to see him get a great first goal and also provide an assist as well. So overall, it was a great team performance of Manchester United. And Mourinho praised it. He praised Doyle, physically very, very strong and technically very, very good. And hopefully, I hope Doyle starts in this game because Doyle is 19. He's a good young age prospect, and he's proven himself to be a very, very good player, in the last couple of games, that he has been playing. I thought he was good out on that right-hand flank, on Saturday against Fulham. I thought Ashley Young were good on the left-hand side at left-back. He very, very rarely plays at left-back, does Ashley Young, but I thought he played very, very well. He made decent runs. He played the right choice of passes, and he played very, very well, did Ashley Young. And Mourinho said we show great intensity. We passed the ball well. He said we show great intensity. He said with and without the ball, we show great intensity. And he said we played lovely 1-2 touch passes in the game as well. And the third goal was brilliant on the weekend. That lovely play between Lingard and Juan Mata for Lukaku's third goal as well. And that's his first goal at Old Trafford, Romelu Lukaku's. His first goal at Old Trafford since March, as I said, but we know he hasn't been to his potential best this season. He was on 27 goals on his first season when he came to the club. We know he's Premier League proven. He's proven in the Premier League. He has been playing senior football since the age of 16, as Romelu Lukaku as well. But Mourinho, he's confirmed that Pogba and Perez be starting. In terms of Fred, I'm not sure about him, but he did confirm the other day in the media that he's waiting until we're defensively stronger, and he's waiting until the team's better balanced to give Fred more game time, and this is what Jose Mourinho had confirmed. As I said, so that's a bit of team news going into the game, but we do have a lot of injury problems defensively as well, as I currently said. And yeah, this is Valencia versus Manchester United. As I said, it would be good to see us top the group. As I said, I think the last time Valencia beat Manchester United was in the UEFA Cup back in 1982, September 1982, and potentially, we didn't beat them in the reverse fixture. It was 0-0 against Valencia in the reverse fixture, and we was also very, very lucky to win last time out against Young Boys. It was Fellaini to the rescue. And I thought we was very, very poor. We created a lot of chances. Rashford had a lot of chances and he was annoyed he didn't get his name on the score sheet. Sanchez was dropped in that Young Boys game as well at Old Trafford, and it was a poor performance, even though we had a lot of chances. But if that had been any other team that had out about them, I think we could have potentially lost that game against Young Boys, and potentially we got out of jail in that game. But obviously, we still won the game. And I thought, it was a great win at Juventus as well, away from home. I said they seldom lose there at Juventus because they've got a very, very good home record. Especially in the Champions League. We was on the back foot for the most of the game. We wasn't in the game. But Jose Mourinho's changes, towards the end had made the difference in that game as well. And that's potentially our best result in Europe, especially under Jose Mourinho, of course. But yeah, I think Man United need to win this game. Well, we don't really, because we're already in the knockouts, but we want to hope to get top spot. But I doubt very, very much that Young Boys are going to get out off Juventus. And potentially we'll read some stats here going to Valencia Man United game. This will be the 8th Champions League meeting between Valencia and United, with the English club never previously having lost to the La Liga outfit. 1-2, drawn 5, lost none in the competition. Valencia have just won of their previous 9 competitive meetings with Man United, with this coming at the Mestalla in the UEFA Cup back in 1982, as I said. So the last time Valencia beat Man United was 1982, 2-1. The last 6 competitive meetings between United and Valencia have just seen 5 goals scored. Their game on match day 2 of the 2008-19 UEFA Champions League ended 0-0 at Old Trafford. If Man United fail to score against Valencia, it will be the first time since 2008-9 against Villarreal that they have failed to score both home and away against the group stage opponent. Valencia have lost 4 of their last 6 Champions League games at Marcella Stadium, having not lost any of their previous 9 games before this run. Manchester United's 1-0 victory against Young Boys last time out marked the 17th occasion. I'm just reading some stats out here that Jose Mourinho has won by exact scoreline in the Champions League. On the Council at 24 and Sir Alex Ferguson 21 have done so more often. Valencia have failed to score in 6 of their last 8 games in the Champions League, including last time out against Juventus 1-0. Manchester United are looking to win all 3 of their away games in the group stages for the first time since doing so consecutively in 2008-9-10 and 2010-11. Valencia have failed to qualify for the knockout stage of the Champions League in consecutive attempts for the very first time. Valencia have received 19 yellow cards so far. The last team to receive 20 or more in the group stages was Zenit St. Petersburg in 2015-16. Paul Pogba has been directly involved in 60%, 3 and 5 of Manchester United's away goals in Champions League this season, 2 goals and 1 assist. So he has done very, very well in the Champions League for us this season. As Paul Pogba. So that's some stats to update you on. And Mourinho said he's going to start Pogba and Pereira. Of course, as I said, with the George Mendes situation, he's just discussed, and Ed Woodward and Mourinho have had a potential meeting for the targets, for the January transfer window. As he confirmed the other day, George Mendes was of the rumours of Jose Mourinho leaving Manchester United. He said it's untrue about him leaving. He said he's fully committed to Man United. He has a solid winning project or something like that, he said he's happy at the club. The club's happy with Mourinho. So this is what George Mendes This was George Mendes' statement. He hardly publicly speaks about Jose Mourinho, does George Mendes. And I think going into this game, Valencia have got a few injury problems. I think they've got a player suspended as well. I think they're currently sitting 15th in La Liga this season as well, at Valencia. But potentially Manchester United should be the favourites going into this game, as I said. So we're looking to win all our 3 Champions League games away from home. So if we win this on Wednesday, we would have won all our away games in the Champions League, of course. But we have been very, very poor at home in the Champions League group stages, as we all currently know. But yeah. As I said, I think Man United should win anywhere. We did it. We failed to beat them at Old Trafford. Of course, it was 0-0. As we all currently know. We haven't lost to them Valencia since 1982. They've never previously beat us in the last 8 meetings. I don't think of Valencia. As it said there on the current stats. But yeah, Mourinho's looking to bolster up in January because he knows the defensive issues, attackively as well. I think we need a prolific goal scorer. Potentially, it confirmed today that obviously Mourinho spent over £400 million since he's come to the club. You know, reportedly he's getting £100 million to spend in January. January's not long away now, as we all know. He always seems to talk about his history and what he's achieved in the past, and he hasn't had great relationships with the top players since he's come in here. And potentially, we know he's had bad disputes with Paul Pogba, and he's recently put the majority of the blame on Paul Pogba, why we're performing really bad and why we're in the position, you know, that we're in, which we shouldn't be in that position considering the amount of money we spent. But there's a lot of players that have been underperforming this season, such as Lukaku hasn't been playing well. I think Lindelof's improved this season, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Sanchez has been struggling, you know, when he has been playing as well. Rashford hasn't been to his potential best, but in the last couple of games he has stepped it up, Marcus Rashford. Matic has been poor this season. I said I did have concerns when Matic came to the club. Mourinho's obviously reluctant to drop him. I'd like to see Matic dropped, as I said, because he has no tempo to his play. He's very, very slow. He's Matic as well. So there is quite a few players that are underperforming this season. You can't just blame it all on Paul Pogba, as I currently said. So you can't just blame it all on one player. But as I said, yeah, Mourinho obviously won 3 trophies in his first season with the club. Obviously, he hasn't met the expectation levels. The expectation levels would have been get us back competing and challenging for major honours. The board and the owners have been thinking about recommending the right man for the job. And, you know, Pochettino's coming to the equation. You know, need a manager with winning mentality and a manager that can change the whole stature at the club. And everyone's been unhappy with Mourinho's team selections and his tactics and his style of play at the club and his managerial style at the club as well. But in the last couple of games, it has stepped up. Does anyone have any faith that Jose Mourinho can turn it around at Manchester United? As I said, you know, we discussed in a couple of weeks ago about potentially top 4. Top 4 does look top 4 looks a doubt, a very much doubt at the moment. He said he wanted top 4 by the end of the year. Did Jose Mourinho? He says if City and Liverpool keep spending, it's going to be hard for Manchester United, you know, to compete on the same level as City and Liverpool, of course. And I think since Mourinho's coming, I think we haven't been aggressive enough in the transfer windows. We haven't got as main priority targets, you know, that we potentially want. So potentially, according to the media, as he updated you earlier on, that reportedly Man United have made agreements for the January window. So reportedly, it's confirmed Mourinho, Ed Woodward, and George obviously represents Jose Mourinho, have all sat down, they've been in a meeting and they've discussed the possible players to come in for the January. They've discussed about January transfer targets, and reportedly it's come to an agreement. Toby Alderweireld's name's been mentioned. Reportedly Mourinho's been given the green light to sign Toby Alderweireld. He's a player that Man United have been heavily linked with. Obviously we were linked with him during the course of last summer. Toby Alderweireld, Man United are keen on getting him for £40 million in January. I do really like him. He adapts his game well. He's highly experienced in the Premier League, and I think dramatically he can improve us defensively. Toby Alderweireld. Obviously, he's highly experienced in the Premier League. He's been a full international since 2009. He's made over 80 caps for Belgium. Obviously, he's an ex-Ajax player. He's an ex-Atletico Madrid player as well, and he was very good in you know, the Dutch league with Ajax. Won 3 titles with them. He was good in Spain with Atletico Madrid as well. You know, where he won the title and got to Champions League in his first season. And we know that he's available for £25 million next summer, is Toby Alderweireld. Mourinho discussed how, you know, reluctant Tottenham are to sell their best players, you know, potentially, you know, how ruthless they are regarding their best players. Tottenham, because obviously they've only spent £50 million since 2014 of Tottenham on players, and they didn't get anyone during the course of the summer. But Tottenham obviously have sold, you know, good players over the years, as we all know, such as Bale, Modric, and all that. But reportedly, Manchester United are interested in Alderweireld. Mourinho's confident of getting a 40 million deal over the line in January. We didn't get a deal over the line during the course of the summer because essentially Tottenham were demanding around they wanted £60 million for Toby Alderweireld. All in all, in the Premier League, including his days with Southampton, he's made 122 appearances and scored 6 goals. He can play as centre-back. He can also play as a full-back as well, and he is tall. He is age 28, 29. I think he's age 28, 29. He's Toby Alderweireld, but highly experienced, and I think it'd be good to come and see him experience these new facilities, play amongst, this Manchester United team, and see how he fits in the team. And I think it dramatically improves us defensively. He's a very, very good defender of what I've seen of his stats and that. And he's highly experienced, Toby Alderweireld, as I said. And reportedly, there's no sign of him signing a new contract term with Tottenham Hotspur. But obviously, Man United are aware he's available for 25 million next summer. But obviously, we'd just rather maybe pay an extra £15 million to try and get him in January. I don't think Tottenham would want to sanction him off, but I think £40 million is a tempting offer. And Toby Alderweireld is rated at around £40 million, of course, as well. He's rated at around £40 million, is Toby Alderweireld as well, because we know Tottenham were interested in Martial during the course of the summer as well. But obviously, I think he'd be a good signing if we were to get him in the January transfer window. Discussing about Toby Alderweireld, also Koulibaly's been mentioned as well. He was potentially a main priority target. Manchester United, of course, have been linked with Koulibaly, the current Napoli centre half. Reportedly, it said Man United would have to pay in the region of 90 million or more. And I think Chelsea have showed an interest in Koulibaly as well, because Sarri's still looking to strengthen up defensively for Chelsea. I think he still wants a couple of players in that Chelsea squad. Potentially Koulibaly, reportedly, Man United have been notified that if they had any chance of getting him, would have to pay over £90 million, which would potentially the most expensive defender in the world. He's a very, very good player. I think he'd adapt the Premier League very, very well. Obviously, he's never played in the Premier League or he's never had any experience in the Premier League, but very, very good strength to half. He can play as a full-back and he can be deployed as a defensive midfielder. He's how old is he? 27, 28? He's highly experienced in Italy. He's strong, he's quick, he's very, very good in the air. He's a good, calm and composed defender. And I think he would be keen on making the move, to one of these top clubs in England if obviously any of these teams were willing to pay the £90 million. Mourinho said he was too confident of the deal because essentially Mourinho thinks it's an extortionate price, for the Koulibaly, but we could rather get Toby Alderweireld and get him cheaper, save about £50 million and get Toby Alderweireld for £40 million rather than get Koulibaly for 90 million or more than 90 million. But now it's Toby Alderweireld, our priority target defensively. Potential, as I mentioned about Koulibaly, he's very, very good. As I said, I think he'd adapt well in the Manchester United squad. He's obviously been at Genk and Metz in the past as well. He's made 29 appearances for Senegal as well. He's been in the senior squad for his international team since 2015 as a Koulibaly. And but they would profit from this financially because obviously they only paid £7 million for him from Genk. He is under contract till 2023 with Napoli as well. He's a Koulibaly. But reportedly Man United have expressed an interest in him as well. And he is tall as well as a Koulibaly. So Man United have been interested in him. But it looks realistic like Toby Alderweireld is the main priority target. Now for Manchester United to go on and get in the January transfer window. Tottenham, wouldn't want to lose one of the key players, but obviously Tottenham would benefit from this. They'd make a profit from this. Potentially they wouldn't want to let him go for 25 million next summer when they can get 40 million pounds for him in the January transfer window as well. And Tottenham will want to spend in January because they didn't get any players during the course of last summer. They haven't, the spending spree hasn't been a lot since Pochettino took over. They've only spent like £50 million on players, as we all currently know. But hopefully, do I have any faith that Jose Mourinho can turn it around at Manchester United? Obviously it's his third season, as we all know. Potentially people question about his team selections and his tactics. There's still people out there backing Mourinho considering that, You know, he's proven in the Premier League and he has been a successor as Jose Mourinho, as we all currently know, you know, in his history and that. But he hasn't delivered the goods to Manchester United, as we all know. We all know he's very, very arrogant as well. He did say in the press of the week he wasn't too convinced we was going to get any major signings in the January transfer window. But as I said, he confirmed about Fred. He'll be getting more game time when we improve and when we're strong defensively and when the team's all better balanced and stuff like this. As I said, you know, can Mourinho turn it around? As I said after the Fulham game, we only beat a bottom league club, and you know we was without Paul Pogba in that game, but we was without him. But it doesn't mean to say that we don't need Paul Pogba because we beat Fulham 4-1. Fulham are a poor side with the worst goal difference in the league. Likely they're going back down, so I wouldn't get too, you know, confident about that, guys. So potentially Paul Pogba can prove himself Wednesday, according to Mourinho. Paul Pogba, there's been rumours about him potentially making a return back to Juventus, as I said. He had 4 or 5 good years with Juventus, did Paul Pogba. You know, obviously Fergie let him go in 2012 because he wasn't getting enough game time. You know, obviously when Pogba was younger, and he is still a huge talent. He hasn't really proven himself in English football. He can have the odd good game here and there. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him, Paul Pogba. Most expensive signing, of course. But Paul Pogba, as I said, you know, you can tell when he's not in that midfield. Our midfield is static. The balance of play is different in the midfield when he's not there, Paul Pogba. So I think we potentially need a stronger midfield alongside Paul Pogba. But without Paul Pogba there, the midfield is totally static. You know, Matic and Fellaini, 2 static midfielders. They have no pace to the game. They have no tempo to the game, as I said. Nemanja Matic. I thought he played well against Arsenal, Matic, but obviously Mourinho has a good relationship with him, of course. And you know, we know obviously in the past he won the title and that was Chelsea and blah blah blah. But you know, obviously I said I had concerns when Matic first came to the club because I'm happy that we signed him. I thought give me Mourinho the benefit of the doubt. You know, he could try and make him into a really really good. But he hasn't really proven it, and I think he's been terrible this season as Matic, and I do think he needs to drop. He put a good performance in against Arsenal and that, but that's only one game. He put a good performance in, did Matic as well. But we've got a lot of players coming to end the deals as well, so the board and owners need to think about that as well. But I think Mourinho will be staying till the end of the season with Man United, of course. I think he definitely will be staying till the end of the season. We know we've heard the rumours about Mauricio Pochettino coming in to take over the club, at the end of the season. Reportedly, it could cost Man United £40 million. Do you think he'd have that winning mentality and that enthusiasm and that, do you think he'd have that stature to command us in a winning position? He's well proven in the Premier League. He got second and third with Tottenham, you know, in his third season, did Pochettino. And he's only spent £50 million since 2014. He's got a 5-year deal with Tottenham. You know, he's got a good bunch of players as Pochettino. But from his perspective, he's aware of the rumours going on that he's linked with a move to Man United. And potentially from his perspective, he's happy with Tottenham. He's looking to get top 4 with Tottenham Hotspur as well. It's Pochettino, and he says he's fully committed to Tottenham Hotspur, as I currently said. So he said he's fully committed to Tottenham Hotspur. He's Pochettino. But as I said, he said it'll cost Man United less money to sack Mourinho at the end of the season if we do fail to get the top 4, as I currently said. So there has been rumours of that going on in the last 4 or 5 days about Pochettino coming to Manchester United at the end of the season. And he played 18 years in his playing career with Espanyol, made over 300 appearances, won 2 Copa del Rey, and he played for Bordeaux and Paris Saint-Germain as well. And he's been in management now since 2009 as Pochettino. So I think he'd do well if he came to United. We were linked to him a couple of years ago, weren't we? Back in 2016, was it? We were linked to him, but we never got Pochettino. And we know it hasn't worked out in management, since Ferguson left, because David Moyes were no good at the club. He only lasted 9 months. He had a really, really short tenure, but he was never proven to be a winner. He never had a good pedigree. He did okay with Everton for 9 or 10 years, but Everton aren't exactly a big club, They're potentially an average club, and since Man United is David Moyes, we're very, very bad, and he didn't have that stature to command us in that position. He got 2 players in, obviously he was still here now. Obviously one of his findings was Fellaini. That was a panic buy, that David Moyes got in. But potentially, as I said, and then he went, he got sacked from other teams, after Manchester United as well. David Moyes, Sunderland got sacked from, I think he got sacked from Sociedad. He got sacked from quite a few teams, did Moyes, after Manchester United, and didn't work out under Van Gaal. He got some players in, some of them made impacts, some of them did make impacts. As I said, I thought when, Louis Van Gaal got Di Maria, and I thought he started the season well. Angel Di Maria, obviously, he left the club. Falcao, we got him in, he left the club as well, and we've still got 6 of the players here, that Van Gaal currently got in as well. But yes, at the moment we know it's not working out under Jose Mourinho, but there is still time to change things around. As I said, I think it's changed the whole identity of the club. What's happened to the type of players that we used to have under Alex Ferguson? Great players, and we need a potential prolific goal scorer. We need a great striker who's highly experienced. There's a lot of them out there, but potentially, with our position at the moment, no top player would potentially want to sign for Manchester United, unless a lot of money were involved, of course. But yeah, going into the Valencia game Wednesday night, 8 o'clock kickoff, we'll be watching it. We've got a few problems, Martial could be out, as I said. He missed Fulham. Bailey is a doubt. Smalling's a doubt as well. I think he come off against Fulham. Luke Shaw's a doubt as well. So we could be without at least 3 centre-halves. So he'll probably have to call Phil Jones and Rojo at centre-back position, of course, if any of these don't start. So he'll have to probably put Phil Jones and Rojo at centre-back, will Jose Mourinho, of course. So potentially, I hope Mourinho starts Doyle. He's confirmed that Pogba and Pereira will be starting as well, as we all know. And yeah, we'll just see what happens, guys. But yeah, big one at the weekend. Liverpool at Anfield. Going to be a very difficult game. We've got to be prepared for it. We've got to be up for it. As I said, because they're a great attacking team. Klopp's got a good pedigree, and Klopp spent quite a bit of money in that Liverpool team. They've got great players that can quite easily punish our defence. So we can't go with the tactic of parking the bus or playing defensively against Liverpool, like Mourinho did. Was it last season? He parked the bus against them. He parked the bus against City. This season when we lost 3-1, early on this season. So that's something Mourinho can't do against Liverpool, because we park the bus, play defensive. We will not get away with it. Of course, now, especially this Liverpool team is growing and getting much better, as they currently said. But we've got games coming up. We've got Cardiff, Bournemouth, Huddersfield coming up soon. They're all games that Manchester United should win, so we should be getting 9 points from them games. These are the games that Manchester United should be potentially winning anywhere on paper. But potentially, we'll have to see what happens, as I said. But this team, all in all, the managerial areas, the total is about £1 billion, or it might be just more than £1 billion. We know all that money we've spent. Some of them are not here now, but our transfer spree in all managerial areas since Fergie left has been about £1 billion on players, and we're in a position that we should not be in whatsoever, as I currently said. But Valencia, Man United, I think Man United are going to win. We haven't lost to them since 1982, it said. In the last 8 meetings, potentially between Valencia and Manchester United have never previously lost. And it said, I think Valencia have just won one out of their last 9 meetings against Manchester United, as I currently said. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. There'll be more live videos coming up very soon, about the route, the transfer news of what's going on and that. But Toby Alderweireld, our main priority target. We know I've also been linked with Joe Boateng, Harry Maguire, Joanne Boateng. Diego Gordon got mentioned in the press a couple of weeks ago as well. He has a 20 million release clause. So we are linked with a lot of players for this January transfer window, as I said. And basically, we haven't been aggressive enough in these transfer windows, especially under Mourinho. We haven't been aggressive enough in these windows, especially last summer, because obviously we was frustrated that he missed out on a strong central defender. We need a highly experienced, strong central defender, potentially, and we could still see players go, as I currently said. So that's your Valencia versus Manchester United review. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider, as I always say, subscribe as always, and take care. And there will be more live videos coming up, guys, very soon. Take care. God bless.